Hello, global citizens. I want to thank you for your commitment to changing the lives of those living in poverty, and I'm here tonight to tell you about another life that was changed this summer, mine, on a recent trip to Africa. Last month, I went to Malawi to visit some of the essential programs funded by the Elizabeth Taylor AIDS Foundation. ETAF was founded by my godmother, Elizabeth Taylor, to provide grants to organizations offering direct care and services to people living with HIV and AIDS all around the world. If you're too young to remember who Elizabeth Taylor was, she was not only one of the most famous actresses of all time, she was also one of the most fierce activists in the fight against AIDS. She was passionate. She was passionate, she was outspoken, she was a real badass. 30 years ago, almost to the day, our then president, Ronald Reagan, would not speak about AIDS publicly while the pandemic was wreaking havoc within the gay community. He wouldn't even say the word AIDS. Elizabeth Taylor was having none of that. She wasn't going to let this crisis run wild, as it directly impacted her friends and loved ones, those the administration considered discardable. Undaunted, she went to DC and she spoke as loud as she could. From the Oval Office to testifying in front of Congress, Elizabeth would not be silenced. Her tireless efforts led to Ronald Reagan finally uttering the word AIDS publicly in 1987. And so here we are decades later, living under a president who lost the popular vote and has proven himself to have the compassion and empathy as a dead flashlight battery. Thank you. His budget proposes slashing healthcare funding for HIV and AIDS worldwide. So now here I am, hearing my godmother's voice urging me to be heard and not allow all that's been accomplished in finding the cure to fall by the wayside. But listen, I've got real news for him. None of us were discardable in 1987, and none of us are discardable now. Prevention, education, and advocacy for people affected by HIV and AIDS, particularly those in the most marginalized communities, lies at the heart of ETAF's work, as it did for my godmother. My trip to Malawi inspired me to advocate for those lives of those within the HIV and AIDS community. AIDS-related illnesses have stolen the lives of 35 million people since the beginning of the pandemic. We need more champions for comprehensive sexual health education in developing countries and in this country if we truly want to prevent new transmissions. And we have to be honest and open about the unique stigma that comes with an HIV diagnosis. We have to break down this stigma if we are ever going to see the end of AIDS. We all have to call on our governments and our world leaders to work to secure a healthier future, free of stigma for everyone. So that's why today I am pleased as well as ecstatic to announce that I will be an ambassador for the Elizabeth Taylor AIDS Foundation. Thank you. I am deeply committed to advocating for this cause in my new role, working with progressive leaders such as Prime Minister Xavier Bettel.